educated, and then all of a sudden,
But I'm pretty sure it's one of the same people in here.
more days. I was so excited too. I was just like, bro, I'm poor. Hello and welcome to our first full episode of Book Theories and Delusions. We are going to be talking about our first book that we're reading together, Once Upon a Broken Heart. Gotta make sure I read that right.
And y'all, it is already so good.
Honestly, the first chapter there was already so much action and whatever, which, as a warning, we will be talking about spoilers, things that are happening in the book. So if you have not read up to chapter 15, do not continue listening until you have read it, or if you don't care about spoilers, then join us anyways.
We're not going to tell you what to do.
We're chill, cool people.
So it starts off with our main character, and her name is Evangeline. And Evangeline finds out that the love of her life is getting married to her stepsister, which very much gave me like Cinderella vibes, because I don't know if you felt that, but like it was very much like her stepsister wasn't very much like cruel necessarily, but like you could definitely see themes of cruelty in her stepmother. And she goes to Immortal Fate, the Prince of Hearts. His name is Jax. And she asks him for help in order to stop the wedding.
What a good intro, right? Like, I'm hooked. That's just the first chapter. Like, that's so crazy.
Literally the first chapter. He like bites her. She's like, if you kiss me, I'm gonna die. It's like, don't kiss me. And he's like, so he like literally bites her arm. And so the deal is sealed. You say so cringy.
Yeah, because like if you're thinking about it like an outside, like not knowing the story, right, whatever, like just being like he bit her arm to like mark her with like whatever, like blah blah blah. It's like, oh my gosh, but it wasn't like it. Yeah. I don't. Again, we will
probably very sultry.
Yes.
Right. Someone was like, oh yeah, and then he bit her. I'd be like, ew, why?
Exactly. Like that's so weird. But also the way they describe it in the book is very like he was pausing and brushing his lips against her like wrist, right? Like almost hesitating in a way, yeah. But like
soaking it in.
Yeah. Maybe giving her a chance to like run away. I don't know.
But then what was crazy is that you find out like she makes the deal and then she like leaves, and in the courtyard she sees that the whole because she's like going to the reception, the marriage, like whatever, and she sees the whole wedding party is turned to stone. Jax is still there, and she sees like this little potion, and he's like, you can basically it was like, this will only be reversed if someone takes their place, right? So someone drinks the potion, they turn to stone, and the whole wedding party will be like back to normal. And so in an act of heroicism, basically she drinks it, she turns to stone, but another Immortal Fate, the poisoner, saves her.
Yeah.
Who's also allegedly very handsome.
Aren't they all?
They all.
Like how they compared him though to like a leprechaun looking type of a dude too, but still like an attractive leprechaun. Like, okay.
I also really like the imagery, because she's like, are you like, what is it, like a nymph, like a wood nymph or something? I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. Well, and she
have
was
that happening
stoned for 6 weeks, right? Like I thought maybe a few weeks later, like a couple of weeks maybe, or it was gonna either be like really short. Yeah, it was either gonna be like really short, or it was going to be like, like she was even really saying, long. I'm glad it wasn't like 6 years or 60 years. 60 or like, years. Like whatever. But yeah, 6 weeks that's a long time. Because she said she couldn't feel anything. Yeah. All she had was her thoughts. She just could think.
And
right?
like her emotions. Like this was kind of interesting, because she's like, yeah, I still felt, but it wasn't like physical feeling. It was like she felt like loneliness and regret, which was really interesting. Also, how crazy is it that like she literally like for her, I don't know how long it felt for her. I wonder if it felt like a short amount of time because she like literally turned to stone and like woke up and basically was like a celebrity. Like they're like, she's a hero. She saved this wedding party and got the attention of like the empress and the princess, which by the way are the main characters in the other series.
Are they really? That's so crazy.
Yes, I saw their names and I was like, oh, like
Are they Empress and Princess in said book too, or are they like normal people?
there's normal people.
Okay, wow.
So she can, and another twist came in. Oh, because um how crazy is it that her Marisol, the stepsister, was like, I'm cursed. Like, we tried to have the wedding while you were stoned, which rude, by the way. Um
They just get married around her.
Marisol is literally like, woe is me, every bad thing is happening, which it is, I mean, granted, but literally, like, she kind of brought it on herself because she like swooped in and like stole her stepsister's love of her life and then also tried to remarry him while she was stoned. Then he got attacked by a wolf, which
Ooh.
mama. Oh,
But also, like, did she, right? Like, do we know, like, I guess theories here, right? Like, did she really knowingly steal this guy away from her stepsister, right? Or was she
mm.
played by him as well? Like, is she a victim too to this guy who just is a player and said all the pretty things to her, but said pretty things to her sister too, right? That's the vibe I
Oh,
got. But also knowing
yeah.
that you can never trust anyone in books, like I don't know, right? Like even the empress and the
Right.
princess, I'm like, are their intentions like whole? Like I don't know, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I love that theory that he's a player. So basically, when things started going really wrong, he's like, "This is not worth it," and then just like dipped out of town.
Sorry, babe, a wolf mauled my face. Basically, the prince was saying that like, oops, can't marry you. I got mauled by a wolf.
Oh, yeah. So we think he's a player, which actually that kind of makes sense. So and then they introduce this prince. He wants like 5 women to dance with, and so they nominate her.
Are they? So this is the part of the story. Not that I'm necessarily completely confused because I guess we'll find out in the next chapters. But is he dancing with 5 women per night? Because they said that this was multiple days, or is he dancing with 5 women overall? Because I thought it was overall at
I
first, but then it seemed like he
I
was
think so
saying per
too.
night. So
I guess we'll figure it out. I guess I would think like because they're choosing someone to be his bride,
right,
so I would say like for the whole thing so that he can get to know them.
that's a good point. That's a good point. But if you've also read
So
like the selection, there's way more than 5 women, right? Like he has a lot of options, and then he dials it down. Whatever the word is, like he chooses, he keeps like, oh my gosh, what is the word I'm
yeah,
looking for? Weeds through them, I guess.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I was gonna say, like, I also think that this is very much a Cinderella story, right? However, again, partial theory, I guess, is I think that the stepsister is also a victim to the stepmother. It's just the stepmother's more treating her badly or saying cruel things to her because she's angry because she wants her to be perfect. She wants her to have the opportunities that she wants her to have, right? In the way that like the stepmother in the
yeah.
Cinderella stories wants the stepsisters to marry the prince, right? In that sort of sense, like the stepmother wants that for her daughter, but she's still like cruel to her and like, you know, she called her disgusting basically, right? Like her appearance was appalling and like of course you have no suitors. If you actually looked nice, nobody would care about this like quote unquote curse basically, right? Which like
So mean.
awful, so cruel. So the cruelty is definitely different to what's her name, Marisol, right? I've all of a sudden
Yeah.
forgotten her name, but like Marisol versus Evangeline, cruelties between them are different from the stepmother, but I think that they're both victims of her, right? And again,
Yeah.
maybe she's not. Maybe this is all ploy, a game to like get
Hmm.
into where because she saw that her sister now is a celebrity, so maybe she's playing this game to be like, oh, actually, like I'm on your side, like yeah, like let's go to the ball together or let's blah 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 blah, right? Now I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to play into that or believe into that as much as like the victim side, but those are two possibilities.
I definitely think they mentioned something really interesting where that there's like a really short scene where Evangeline's like there's like some kind of magic on him because like this isn't like him at all. And then like her stepmother is like kind of like quickly like I think like either diverts it or like does something to like change the subject. So I definitely think like the mother-in-law, like you said, is like has a hand in all of this and it's definitely a villain type character. And she is meddling. She is meddler AF and is really screwing with their lives. And so I definitely think she did something. I don't know whether it's like cast a love potion on Luke. I want to say Julian that but
Yeah.
that's different. On like Luke or whatever to make him fall for Marisol. Um because I think I could find it interesting if what if like, Marisol sees, Evangeline and Luke together and she's like, well, and she has this like crush on him, like whatever. The mother-in-law or the stepmother finds out and is like, well, like here, let me help you.
It's kind of crazy how much the stepmother's in everything, right? Like she showed her the letter that Luke, I almost said Jax, that Luke wrote to the sister, right? She was
Hmm.
taking opportunity immediately with suitors for her to raise her status up,
Hmm.
right? Like just everything was she's just so involved with everything in like the worst way, right? Like yeah.
Right. Definitely meddling.
Mm-hmm. And I want to know what happened with because like Luke gets mauled by some wolf or something, right? And when
Hmm.
Evangeline confronts Jack about it, he was like, "I didn't do that. Like that's messy." As if to be like, "That's dumb. Why would you? Why would I do that?" But
Hmm.
at first I was like, "Oh, was it like the stepmother?" But then why would she do that if she wants her daughter marrying him, right? So then it's like,
Hmm.
well, who did it? Or was it not a wolf, but everyone said it was a wolf? Or Luke said it was a wolf because whatever did happen to him, whether it was through his appearance or whatever, it sounded better to say, oh, it was some wolf or something crazy happened to me and I had to go into hiding, right? So I don't know.
Right. Ooh. Definitely can see Jax like doing something and then having like, Luke just be like in order to like hide, or protect, his reputation or his dignity, whatever. He's like, we got attacked by a wolf, but I protected her, but now I'm disfigured, but I'm a hero. Right. I'm having Luke do that, but like really it was Jax. He like just cast something on him to make him like ugly or whatever, you know?
That's actually a really good theory. I kind of love that Jack didn't have him mauled by a wolf or anything like that. He just simply was like, "You're ugly now." Like your outside reflects your inside, and so then Luke was so like, "Oh my gosh," right, or something, which could explain his family going away to fix the problem to
Uh-huh.
get a surgery, but instead he's going maybe to another fate or something like that to fix the magic.
Ooh.
Interesting. Ooh.
Yeah.
This is my favorite part. I loved that Jax was picking the prince to be her first kiss, and that he
Oh,
says she would die if she didn't do it by that night. Like that's crazy, right?
that's so great. Yeah.
Oh, and I don't think we talked about it before, but those three like little bite marks that he did on her wrist or her arm or whatever was to
That
be the
started
like
burning.
yeah started burning, but they're the marks basically the like the little tallies of the amount of kisses that
Mm-hmm.
she owes him for stopping the wedding. So that's what
Mm-hmm.
that is. And so it'll start burning, I guess. When she's close to him, or possibly when he's about to decide. I don't know, or has decided. But that's crazy.
Yeah. Basically, the it was like his little like, okay, you're gonna kiss this prince. Like,
Which, like, he's supposed to be close to, right? So,
yeah.
well, I don't know about, like, best friend type of close, but he's at least the, like, he has the prince's ear, so to speak. So, there's some
Mm-hmm.
closeness, right? That's crazy that he, like, picked someone that he's quote unquote close to go through that, right? And I'm
Yeah.
really interested to see what the kisses do. Because she even was saying how it's like something of a spell. She couldn't help it. They went for like a long time. Like they were kissing and it was passionate and like a good kiss, right? Like they just both were kind of diving into each other. And he stopped them, which that was such a good scene. I loved that because she's like getting more into it. Like at first it was really soft and slow and just like a really nice kiss, right? The way it described it was like really beautiful. And then it got more and more like just like almost, I hate that word, but like hungry.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden his hand was on her and ripped her away. Like he was jealous or something. Like I thought that was so good. You know, I think that this whole story has a very fairy tale feel to it, which obviously it's got like, you know, fates or gods or whatever you want to call them, and magic and wishes coming true, and honestly, even the way that these lands and shops and everything is described is very fairy tale like, and I love the descriptions. I love this world building that's going on, and like when she went into what's it called, Verlanda or something, the north side city, she was talking about how she tried to kind of peek into shops just to see what was there, like just to like see what the world looked like, in the north side versus where she's from, the south side, right? And I still wanted to just go into those shops the way that they're describing it. Like it was so well done.
Right. And I just love that like little bit of humanity too, where it's just like she wasn't like going from point A to point B, right? She was just like, I've never been here before, and like it's also different, and you know, you hear like the stories, like whatever, but like, you know, she's expressing her humanity. Like, I don't know, I just it's kind of refreshing how like believable I feel like the main character is, right?
Definitely, definitely. And it's not just her being like, oh, this place is new, because they're very opposite, the south and the north, right? With how they even dress and how they just, like, one's sunshiny, one's like cloudy, like the moon, you know, like misty type of a thing. And they're opposite. So it is a new world, but this is the land that like her mom came from and told her all those stories and really painted a picture for her of what it was like, and made it into this fairy tale seeming beautiful place that she wanted to go to, that she missed, the mom, like that the mom missed and all this stuff. But I think it's really interesting that it definitely has these like mysteries to it too, because she couldn't finish some stories, the mom. You're supposed to hold your breath when you go through the entrance arch, otherwise the magic could steal your voice and use it to plead for help, to like have somebody save it so it can get into other places of the world. So
Yeah, that was crazy. And also too, that the magic extends to like the Empress and the princess, right? Because when they were telling stories or like trying to describe like what this prince was like it was like they couldn't speak,
yeah.
right? So it's almost like I think they have to witness it themselves and like, oh,
Well, yeah, and like because she specifically asked, like, do you know anything about the prince? And they so enthusiastically were
right.
like, yes, like we do, like oh my gosh.
Yes,
And then
we
as soon as
do.
as soon as they were like, you know, blah blah blah, he's whatever, it just cut off. Like they were just like, oh wait,
John.
what do I know? Like I know nothing, right?
Foggy eyes, they're just like dissociating, you know, La La Land.
Yeah. Oh my
Me when
goodness.
I'm in a boring meeting. Like,
Honestly, that every character is really awesome and really well done and everything. I love the description. Like I said, I love how everything's described, even just like the way that people are described, the way that places are described. And usually when things are described, I just kind of like block it off, and I'm just like get to the point of the story, right? Like I want to move on with the like the
yeah.
talking and the like whatever. Like I don't care what this building looks like. No matter how hard I try, like I just can't focus on it. I want to get to like the story part of it. But like this one, I feel like I'm actually paying attention more, and I can
Right.
retain like the images in my head of like what it looks like.
Right, because it's like very like beautiful, but it's like I feel that because I feel like a lot of time like it's just so drawn out. And they're like, and this brick looks like this, and then this detail is like this, and you're like, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I want to see them kids, like
Hurry up.
give it to me.
Well, and also I like how it
So,
takes you out of that description too, right? Where it could almost be too much description, it all of a sudden like rips you out, but like in a good way. Like when she was describing the prince and how he's
yeah.
very good looking, but obviously he's not like a fake good looking, right? Because that's almost inhuman. But like describing how good looking he is and just what he looks like and his build, like everything, right? And then it pulls you out of that description by having Jax go like, you're drooling, like loudly enough for even the prince to hear, and he's like, no worries. Right? And like I think that's so awesome and so funny, because like I'm sitting there getting into it like, oh wow, like blah blah blah, like his shoulders, his whatever, right? Like all this stuff. And then it's like, you're drooling, and I'm like, no, I'm not, right? And I'm not even her.
Yeah, you're like, wait, am I? Oh no, it's her. But both, maybe?
I'm
Like,
fine.
yeah. I don't drool.
No, I'm really enjoying this book so far. I do feel almost like
Yeah.
I said, a childlike fantasy story to it. I
Yeah.
think that's the point, right? Yeah, it's definitely something that I want to like dive into the world more of, right?
Hmm.
And I do
I
love. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I was just gonna say, I think it's really interesting, all of the action and all of the things that we're seeing right now. The descriptions, even the little bits of like possible jealousy maybe from Jax, maybe not, because genuinely I have no
Hmm.
idea. I have a theory that I think
Hmm.
the 3 kisses are him testing her to see if she can survive these kisses. I don't know
Hmm.
what reason for or whatever, but so that he can kiss her. Like, this is his trial run of going through girls to find his true love, right?
Hmm.
Um, but
Hmm.
that's just a theory. But like, all of these little things that is happening in just 15 chapters, but there's 2 other books that we have to get through and the rest of this one, right? So I'm like, what's gonna happen? Like, what all crazy things is gonna happen that's gonna keep me going and wanting to read more?
Hmm.
You know, like, what other stories are there gonna be to keep me
Right.
going for 3 books?
Yeah. So I was really excited. So not only, so I told you that this is written by the same author,
Right.
but I guess when I started reading, I also didn't realize that this takes place in the exact same world and also happens at the same time as the other series. Right? So like the last book ends as this book starts, right?
Okay.
And so I am telling you, I am so hyped to get like back into this world, like see some familiar faces and, just like even like the fates, are reappearing like girl, when I tell you I was like when I finished the other book series, the Caraval series, I was like I want more. I was like because the really fun thing about this series or like the other one is like there were so many twists and turns like and stuff that you read and you're like, this doesn't make sense. And then like other stuff happening. And then it started like, I don't know, so many tricks and puzzles and clues and everything that you're just like, what does this all mean? And then it reveals itself and you're like, holy cow, like this is insane and this is crazy. And so I'm really excited to see what she's going to do for this because I have a feeling it's going to be the exact same way. And if it is, girl, we are in for a ride. I promise.
I'm so excited. And I'm glad that you've read books from her before too, because I feel like right now, and again, this is just the beginning, so I'm not like bashing on the book yet. But I feel like it is kind of writing that line where it could be really good, or it could be like, you know what I mean? Because it could be right now just
Right.
rushing through all this stuff, and then it's like, okay, whatever, you know what I mean? Or it could just be really
Mm-hmm.
good, where you're saying it's actually so like there's so many twists and there's so many like things that if you're not paying attention to, you're not at all gonna find out, or like blah blah blah. So like it could be
Mm-hmm.
really good, and so I'm glad that like you've read a book by her to know what kind of writer she is and the style, and like to know that she's good, right? So we're not reading this being like,
Let's hope for the
yeah,
best,
like knock on wood. I don't know. So I'm glad. I'm glad that she's
That
really
wasn't
good.
actually wood. That was plastic.
I have wood.
Oh, I do, actually, too. That's the second time this happened in 2 days where it's like, knock on wood, and I like knock right here when I have a wooden dresser, like right here.
That's really funny. And the fact that she's already kissed somebody and gone through this whole like promise of like stopping the wedding and everything. Again, this is just the first 15 chapters. Like, I'm so excited to see what even is going to happen in this book, let alone the next 2, right? Like, it's just
Hmm. Hmm.
crazy. And the fact that the
Like,
princess has somebody that she's avoiding, right? Like, there's just so much with each character.
hmm like it is already crazy, and we're only like 15 chapters in, and it's like we have I don't know how many chapters they said, like 40 or something.
Yeah, something like
This
that.
book has, I don't know, something like that. And like it's already wild. And so I buckle up, get your seatbelts on, put your hands and feet in the vehicle at all times, and we are just gonna have a great time. So
Yep.
excited.
So excited. Oh my
I
goodness.
knew. I knew, I knew this book was gonna deliver, and boy was I right.
Well, so many people are giving it like really good reviews, right? Like all over TikTok, I feel like I'm seeing it. Goodreads, there's like
Yes.
tons of good reviews, right? So
Yeah.
I knew that people liked it, but there's been other books that we've read where people are like, "This is the best book ever," and it's really popular, but it like wasn't that great. You know
You
what I
read
mean?
it and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, like what was the
The
point
Winter
of
King.
this? That was like so bad. Oh my goodness.
We're reading The Winter King for book club and we're like, can I get some brain bleach, please?
I think we stopped at like after 10 chapters or something like that. Like it was so bad. But yeah, no, I'm interested to see how
We
all the
still
relationships.
PTSD.
It only shows up like every so often. Like we'll be talking about something that's like triggering or like bad
Hmm.
writing or something like that, and immediately we're both like the Winter King.
Yeah. Talk about a bad book. We're like, like The Winter King?
At least it's not as bad as this one.
At least it's not as bad. Like, forever will be like the worst thing we've ever read.
Yes. Honestly, even the What If series was better than that.
And that's really saying something.
It really is. Oh my goodness.
I feel like The Winter King made me angry, but the What If series just made me really depressed. Like, I was just like,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, but I don't even I can't even articulate my feelings for either of them. Like it was just bad. Like the story
Yeah.
idea for the What If one, for the at least the first book was a good idea. Just horrible
Could have
writing
been
and
good.
execution, whatever.
Really poorly executed. But hey, we have high hopes for this one, so
Yes.
this trash talk session brought to you by Shayna and Winona.
I, I'm also interested to see though, like, because they kept talking about how Jax got in trouble with something with a princess, right? And it said something about there was a princess with pink hair, and I don't know if that's like ancient times or if that was the princess that Jax got in trouble with, or if it's talking
Hmm.
about the princess, like the sister of the empress, if she was the one who like broke his
Hmm.
heart somehow, or blah blah blah, which I don't understand because if the only way that a girl can truly break Jack's heart is through kissing him, because like he's trying to find the one person he can kiss without killing, basically, right?
Hmm.
And if they kissed at all, like she'd be dead, or she's the true love of his, but maybe she's like rejecting him. I don't know.
So I am gonna say something. I was looking earlier today, and I think we are supposed to have read Caraval before this series. Because like I said,
I knew
this
it.
so I do like some of the answers I'm like, oh yeah, that happened in this book. Like, oh, this happened in that book. So
Oh, that's so funny.
I don't know, maybe yeah. Whoops.
No, it's good. I mean, we did that with like Dance of Thieves, Vow of Thieves, and like the Remnant Chronicles,
Yeah.
so I'm sure it'll work
I can
out.
just fill you in, I guess.
Yeah,
Or I don't know if this is like a series that you want to read, like, outside of our little book club. I don't know if that would.
maybe, probably.
I would recommend it. Like, I don't know if you want to do it, but I would just recommend reading it at some point because, again, that series blew my mind. Really, just incredible.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely on my
Um,
list. Like I definitely want to read it.
when we have time.
Yeah.
So do you want to hear something really exciting that I found out?
Yes.
The Caraval series is actually getting a fourth book, but it's like a
Oh.
novella. So it like happens after, I don't know, in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series it happens. But it's like basically 3.5 in the series, and it's just like a little novella, and I'm so pumped. And so I already pre-ordered it because that's the kind of person I am.
Love that. I think I told you this already, but like I got the Morrigan book, and I'm so excited for it.
Yes.
The cover's so
Oh, you
pretty.
ordered on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Which we will, I don't know if we want to read this as like it's part of our book club, but or just whenever, but
Yeah. A lot of like really good things to add to the list. When we get to the end of the list, I think we have a lot of good like ideas, right? Like of really good
a
books that are out there.
never-ending list.
Yeah, literally. TBR.
This is already so promising, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, so I guess on Tuesday we will be reading.
So we're gonna read to 30 on Tuesday. We are gonna discuss chapters 16 to 30.
Woohoo! I'm super excited.
We'll see if we're gonna. Yes, we're gonna see if she gets her second kiss. What happens with Jax? What happens to Luke? We're gonna see everything.
Who she's gonna be kissing next? Is it a different person? Like,
is she gonna kiss that handsome prince a second time? Ooh. Does that count?
Is she gonna win the competition?
I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out.
Guess we'll find out. So
yeah, we're gonna
join
find
us
out.
on Tuesday. We are going to, I'm sure, have so much more to discuss, and are super excited.
Yes. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining.
We love you.
Don't forget to subscribe, comment, give us your theories, give us your recommendations for books if you want to see us reading more books. We love it all.
Oh, most of it. Not The Winter King. As we previously discussed.
We might say no to certain books. Doesn't mean we're actually going to read them, but you know.
We're not super picky. Our delusional friends, we will bid you adieu. We'll see you another time.